I have not been live on YouTube in so long. So I'm sharing the link for you guys to come up if you want to come up. And first things first, let's add a banner. You can send your donations for the show to my Cash App if you're so inclined. It is not a requirement. I would love to see you all up. Oh, sorry. I would love to see you all come up and hang out. Let's move this down just a bit. I don't want my head cut off though. Okay, we're doing good with the camera scene. And next up, okay, I am going to, I got let's run the intro and then we're going to talk about who is Deante Kyle, baby, because everybody needs to know who Deante Kyle is. Let's go. Yeah, Drake was patting you on the back. All the rappers. Hey, what's up? Back again. Hey, what's up? It's up to you to do the research. It's up to you. Hey, everybody. What's up? I hope everybody is doing well. Hi. Hey. I know I took a long break after the Memorial Day weekend was also my birthday weekend. So I took a long break. I am back. The pinned comment is here. If anybody wants to hop on, I want to have a conversation and introduce you all to somebody that I think is a brilliant mind on these internet streets. And that is Deante Kyle from the Grits and Eggs podcast. And the funny thing about Deante Kyle to me is that Deante Kyle, I had a great time. Thank you. I had a great time. I know I've been missing y'all too. I'm like, I need to get on. I miss my folks. I'm so glad to be back. I really miss y'all. I had a great birthday, great end of May. So yes, it was amazing. If you're interested in hopping on, you do not have to be on camera, but I wanted to introduce Black women. That's actually my age, Black women, 40 plus, 35 plus, 30 and up, whatever. I want to introduce you all to somebody who I believe is a brilliant mind on social media. He has a podcast. His name is Deante Kyle. He has a podcast called, why am I showing this? I need to hide that. Thank you for the love. So Deante Kyle is a brilliant Black man who, to me, has the fame that he deserves. And like I put in the description box, Deante Kyle's fame is really for making sense. And there's nothing else. And I believe that there was some controversy recently about Deante Kyle because they called him a panderer to Black women. Like he was pandering to women, anti-male, anti-Black male. But what I find so interesting and intriguing is that his take on things is very, very common sense. Things that you would think as a normal adult person who makes sense of things people do wrong, there isn't a, weapon against them, but themselves. So he's very like anti, the establishment is trying to take down Diddy. Anti, the establishment is trying to take down Tory Lanez. He's very, this person did wrong and they deserve to be punished for their wrong. That is who Deante Kyle is. And what I really love about his takes is that they're very genuine, authentic, and they're not to appease any audience, right? His takes are him saying what most normal, logical people would think. So I wanted to play some clips from his Grits and Eggs podcast, and I'm hoping that we can get through the clips without any problems. or the video being flagged for some reason. But let me, before I run those guys, I want to just figure out. I don't have it up here, sorry. But I just wanted to see if I can add my fair use, but I don't have it in this studio. No worries. Let's run some Deante Kyle information or run some Deante Kyle videos, and then we'll talk about how his videos just make sense to normal people. 1 minute. I'm going to add this to the stage. That is me getting smaller, and I've actually lost 10 pounds. Let me come back on and say this. I'm very excited about this. I've actually lost 10 pounds, and I can see it already in my face. My face is the first thing to debloat. So I don't think the 10 pounds is like me actually like sweating out fat. It's like the water weight is leaving as I'm being more conscious of what I'm eating and moving my body more. So if you guys notice that I've lost weight, please throw it up in the comment section. I appreciate it. Let's go to what I wanted to share about Deante Kyle, because he makes so much sense to me often. No, every time. So let's play some of his takes. And let's start here, because you know what is very interesting about this take that Deante Kyle has is that I said this on one of my recent live videos. I said that there is anti-Black male education, intellectualism, whatever. I said this recently. He also has posted about this. And what happened was Black men on TikTok said, no, you're wrong. You're absolutely 100% wrong. No, Black men are going to school. And everybody is saying Black men aren't going to school. The colleges are reporting that Black women at Black universities and across the board, Black women, for let's say the incoming class of Howard University, let's say it's 100% Black identified, right? 100% of the class is Black that is entering Howard. 19% of the incoming freshman class for a all Black stellar historical Black university, 19% is male. And for Black men to even get online on TikTok, on YouTube, and try to refute this as something else other than maybe saying we need to address this. That is my biggest disconnect with this community of men. And I'm not saying it's 100% all Black men. It's a community of Black men who are just in defense of everything instead of being solution-based people, so we can understand why our boys are withdrawing, why parents aren't encouraging and pushing. Where is the disconnect happening? Why aren't parents given the support that they need to allow their young Black men to enroll in college? When does this happen that the Black male as a youth is deterred or discouraged from going to school? That is the conversation that I believe Black men should be having. And me as an intellectual and educated person with formal education from from universities and colleges, my question would be, how do we reverse these numbers? How do we help parents? How do we help single mothers? But instead, we have a community of men who is really harping in on it's not true. Even my thing, let me say this. At Hampton, this is exactly. I went to PWIs. I didn't have the privilege, and I exclaim from the rooftops. I did not have the privilege or the insight. Growing up in a red state, I was in a small Midwestern city. I didn't even know I went to suburban schools, HBCUs weren't even promoted or talked about at all. So I went to PWIs for college. My university was a PWI. Ever since I had to be probably upper 20s. And my father is an Ivy League educated man, with a JD, been in Business Insider on newspapers. My mother has an MBA, 2 master's degrees. You know what I mean? So I wasn't in a family that didn't promote education. I just had no push to go to an HBCU. And I really hate that for me. I mean, I'm still educated, I'm still brilliant, but I hate that for me. I have encouraged my daughter, who is only 12. We've already had conversations about, baby, you're going to Spelman. I want you around Black women who are educated and come from great families and who want to have higher education and want to be movers and shakers in the world. But and you're saying that's over 20 years ago. I'm going to read this comment because I'm probably going to use it as a highlight when I do pull some information from this video from my other social media platforms. And you're saying we're talking about the Black male drop in college enrollment that is persistent, and inclining. The lack of enrollment is on an incline for Black men. So this isn't anything new, says Conceited 2.0. My sophomore year at Hampton in 2002, the incoming freshman class was 1,900 females and 300 males. If you think about this being 20 years ago, and you think about where we are as a collective today, it lines up perfectly with the discourse, because if there was such a lack of desire to be intellectuals, then we're looking at those men by podcast mics now. Think about it. We're looking at those young men by podcast mics now and refute every point that is being made. Those are the men buying podcast mics now, maybe slightly younger, but those are the 35 to 45-year-old men now who don't value education and who are promoting this continuous message to Black youth, to Black male youth, that, oh, this is how you do it. Yo, you got to be, listen, I appreciate the success of the people like Akai Sanat, but if you're talking to 25-year-old men about, hey, just stream, hey, just make a YouTube channel, and there's nothing else going on in that brain, then we got a problem. We got a problem. So that's why I appreciate men like Deante Kyle, who can hopefully reach the Black male youth, because he is so pro-Black and smart and appealing to the masses. But there's already pushback for men like Deante Kyle. I want to play some of his clips so we can talk about it. And I find him to be absolutely refreshing. And I am fascinated by his unapologetic delivery on his messages. So let's go and watch a few of his clips. We'll come back and talk about a few of them. All right, let's start with, I love it. Let's hear. Conceited 2.0 says, I remember in college talking to girls and saying I preferred having a housewife whose main focus was raising kids and running the house, not in the workplace. This is a very interesting take that I don't oppose. Let me tell you why I don't oppose it before I run the first Deante Kyle video. I don't oppose this because there's an absolute benefit to I'm going to say this. You said you were told that you were a fool because why would they spend 4 to 5 years in school just to do that? You're absolutely right. But we have to talk about And here we are now. I agree to some extent. When you have the ability to be with your child, which I thank God that I don't have the freedom to, of course I'm divorced, so I don't have the freedom to be home and not work. But for my daughter's entire life, I've been able to work from home, and she's 12, 11. What I think it has done is absolutely. Oh, G said, is this a backup plan to counter potential ABSC? Yep, agreed. This is my take on what Conceited is saying. Having your wife feel good about herself with a strong, educated, providing Black man, she can pour into that household like you would not believe if she's able to do that freely and happily and with ease, right? So I agree 100%. If we had families that were able to have a woman be properly loved, reflect that love on her children, instill this pride to be Black, this pride in taking care of your home that the man would have. You know what I mean? So there is so much dynamic, but we don't have that. Um, we don't have that privilege in a lot of the inner city where you see so many young Black males that go astray, right? We don't have that privilege. So if you have a mom that's stressed out, she can't do anything but take naps after work. Then she gets up, cooks a meal, and goes to her bedroom because she's at work all day or she's on public transportation all day. You know what I mean? So that financial piece plays a part. Not having fathers in the home play a part, but you recognize that. I appreciate that, Conceited. You recognize that if you had a beautiful Black woman in the home, and I mean beautiful just because she's Black, right? Not aesthetically looking like a certain thing, but you have a Black woman in the home who can pour into her children and not have to worry about putting on for a corporate environment every day. And then she can do it freely without a man, like G said, that may potentially be financially ABSC, ABSIVE. You know what I mean? So if you can get a household like that, that's ideal, of course. But where we are today, the disenfranchisement, the taking men out of the home, which wasn't Black women, you know what I mean? That was society was set up like that because, of course, we need more bodies to work in free labor in the American prison system. So if you had that ability, that would be amazing. But we don't. We don't. So I think the Black men on TikTok who were refuting this information should have said, "Da, da, 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 da. No, let's figure out how we can support these women. What kind of programs can we instill, even locally? Let's get these brothers off the street. Let's say, hey, man, I know this ain't what you want to do. You don't want to stand it. I know men, and I'm a woman. I live in the suburbs. I can't, my experience is different. But I know men who live downtown Chicago in fancy apartments, but still relatively close to inner city. You see the same young men standing at the gas station all the time. Now, I'm not saying everybody deserves a reach back, a handout, some inspirational quote from you, but if you see the same 19, I've seen homeless or men with, oh, let's see what G says. I feel with social media, you get people's initial reaction to things before they really think or try to learn anything. They just want to react. Exactly. Exactly. And there's a baseline, though. There needs to be a baseline, G, where if somebody says education is not a priority to Black men or Black male youth, I really don't care about the numbers after that. I really don't care about if they say it's down 1%. If they say it's down 5%, I don't care what the rest of that message is. I, as a Black person, want to fix that. How do we fix that? I really don't want to get on here and debate why it's happening. I want to find the solution because I mean, that would be the ultimate goal, right? For this society we live in. For the society we live in, the ultimate goal is to make Black men less intelligent, take away their rights, get these free bodies into these prisons and data centers and wherever they need free labor. We also need to talk about these data centers. I'm probably going to do that on a different live, but these data centers, like I was watching some programs on Memphis, Alabama, Mississippi. These data centers are being built in the poorest counties, which are mixed race. I'm not saying it's all white and black. I mean, it's all Black. In the poorest counties by these super oligarchs, right? They're building these data centers in the poorest counties in the state, and still the trees are voting for the axe. And then they get on the news, they get on NBC, they get on Dateline, they get on 2020, and they want to talk about data centers. You didn't think that you would be taken advantage of? You thought it would only be the people that look different than you? No. No. So let's I'm going to play some of Deante Kyle's information, but y'all can put in the comment section, please tell me how you feel about these data centers. Have y'all been seeing this data center stuff happening? And I'm sorry if I'm glitching. I shouldn't be, but it looks like I think the solution would be to get people to see themselves in the things we go to school for. As a man raised in a patriarchy, but being Black, not having access to all that creates frustration. Exactly. Exactly. And that's the point I was trying to get to when I said, if you're a man and you live in downtown Chicago, you got one of these cute little high rises. You pay $4,000 or $5,000 a month for it. And you go to these gas stations, you see the same little boy outside. Man, can I have $1? Can I have $1? Can I have $1? I've seen them, and I haven't lived in the inner city in 30 years. You see these children outside begging for $1, and something don't click to you and say, man, let me reach back. Let me at least put them in contact with somebody I know, because if you live in downtown Chicago, you probably pledged somebody, you know, a principal, you know, somebody. Get this little boy in a program. Don't give him $1 every day. That is the type of movement I would like to see. If somebody says Black male youth is on the decline as far as college enrollment, please say something other than no, it's not. No, y'all pandering. Y'all just want Black women to feel good about their education. Who cares? Who cares? The solution should be the only conversation. Because if somebody says it's 0.5% on decline, I'm going to say, yo, we need to flip that into 0.5% incline. I really don't want to argue with you. I don't need to argue with you. The point is the point. And y'all are saying it's so factual. Conceded has said there were 1,900 women, 300 males. Mao and Afghanistan showed us how to get freedom. Matter of fact, this nation should what to do when you're facing oppression. 1776. Yeah. Yeah. To keep my video from being flagged on here, I will say, But I think that goes into a bigger conversation, because we could always sit here as Black people and talk about Burkina Faso, Botswana, Chad, not Eritrea. Oh, it's coming to me. They have a female president in this African country. She said, foreign nationals gotta go. Okay, y'all, I'm so excited because I missed y'all, but I want to say this. I just read an article. Botswana said, if you want diamonds, they will leave here as you want them. If you want gold or coal, forgive me. Botswana said, if you want diamonds, they will leave here as the Tiffany princess cut diamonds that you want. You will not take our diamonds and then go refine them and sell them at $40 million. and put them on Marilyn Monroe. No, no, no. Botswana said, you will not mine our natural resources. They are only to be mined by the people of the country. You've seen what Burkina Faso has done. Burkina Faso said everybody out. And you see who's trying to go meet with Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traore? Yeah, Trump. Yeah, Trump. You have to see what's happening. I told my little girl today, who is 12 years old, I said, there will be in your lifetime a shift in the race dynamics we've seen as children and as young adults and as adults. In her lifetime, they will see a shift in the race dynamics that will shake this earth as we know it. If these young African leaders take over their resources, kick the West out, and align themselves with superpowers such as Russia and China, the change that we will see as Black people, it will be a life that we couldn't have even imagined. You understand? A life that we could, the electricity that we have in this country comes from mined minerals on the African continent. I think people need to do a lot of research about the shift for Black skin that will be reversed once these countries and Africa unites as a whole with superpowers like Russia and China. Baby. So we can talk about that on another show. Let's play some Deante Kyle. I'm so excited. I missed y'all so much. Let's play Deante Kyle. I really want to hear y'all opinion, because to me, Deante Kyle just seems like a normal guy saying normal things. But, and deservedly so, he's been praised as an intellectual. I agree. And not even like me. Not even like me. I want the army to be like Ibrahim Traore. The problem is we have leaders in countries like Nigeria who just gave Bill Gates the highest honor of their country. We have men like, and then, oh, listen, and this is maybe news. I might not have all my facts right. Ghana has requested all Chinese port contracts be rewritten. Excuse me. So Ghana has requested, I used to date a Ghanaian man who was very smart, brilliant man. And he told me that the ports, the accessible ports, the accessible shores of Ghana are all Chinese owned. All Chinese owned. Now, I understand this may make sense because I don't know everything, and maybe he doesn't know everything either. But this may make sense if you say, yeah, this is a problem, right? Are all Chinese owned, but it may make sense because if Ghana is looking for military support in the event that somebody wants to come to Ghana and take, forgive me, I may be wrong. I think Ghana produces cocoa. Cocoa, because I think they're like Brazil and Ghana are like neck and neck with who produces the most cocoa in the world. It's cocoa, coffee bean. I know it's not palm oil. I know that's Nigeria. I know it's not petroleum or whatever. If y'all have it in the comments, please let me know. Shea. Okay. So it could be, yeah, it's something they compete with Brazil. So Ghana has gold. Ghana produces shea butter. So Ghana may have done contracts like that for military support or military advancement with the Chinese government. But, you have places like China, and individual cases are which Chinese people are being racist to people in Nigeria, whatever. If you talk about the gold, cocoa, and crude petroleum, okay, so they have petroleum too. Cocoa is big, one of their big exports, but maybe they did this to have alignment with some military support. So I don't know, but apparently Ghana is rewriting all the contracts for the ports. Um, so okay. I want to play Deante Kyle because he recently won, I believe, what's called a Webby. I'm not sure it's a Webby. I should have had more facts before I came over here. I'm not sure if it's a Webby or not, but Deante Kyle is a brilliant black man. And he ain't into that white alignment. And he had the funniest video. I'm gonna try to find that video before we get off here about inviting everybody into blackness. He said recently he saw two Indian American people talking about hip hop and acting as an authority on hip hop. Who? I agree. I agree. And that's why I put in the description box. We need to talk about the adjacent whiteness, and white being adjacent to whiteness is the success measure for so many black men, young black men, athletes, successful entertainers, being adjacent to white vajayjay, being adjacent to white males in business rooms and boardrooms. The being adjacent to whiteness is how they measure success. Is who Hanuman or whatever his name is had that 36 Mafia remix song and blew up his career off mid. We got to stop inviting people. I don't understand. See, for me, I have a daughter who understands that her light skin makes her. I heard this from a intellectual man earlier today that prosperity is to protect. You are blessed with prosperity. You're blessed with privilege to protect others in a society like this. So very early on, I had my daughter understand how they would try to dehumanize little girls at her school because she goes to a primarily white school. They will try to dehumanize girls that are poor, girls that are darker, girls who have different hair texture, girls that whatever. Your purpose and your privilege in this world as a lighter complected child is to protect those people. You're not light skinned to be pretty. I don't give a fuck about that. I really don't care. You're not light skinned to be pretty. You're light skinned to use that privilege for the betterment of girls that identify as you and may look different than you and can be dehumanized quicker. Not that you won't be, because you're still a black little girl. Not that you won't be dehumanized. But when you see it happening, you get to stand up for those people. That's privilege. That's privilege. That's why I don't understand how people don't use that. You don't use your $1 million to go buy okay, let me talk. You don't use your billion, excuse me. You don't use your $1 billion. What's Jeff Bezos to buy a ghost yacht so people can't find you. So people don't know which yacht you're on. Hello? You don't use your $1 billion to buy a ghost yacht. No. You don't use your $1 billion, Elon Musk, to buy ketamine. Hello? Hello? What billionaire is so miserable? You have $1 billion, access, privilege, and you still need to get high on the cheapest, most white trash trailer park ghetto drugs. Exactly, G. Just like black men need to use their privilege of being men to work with and help protect black women and children. I got you. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. Use your prosperity. Your privilege is designed to protect. We used to call it, and let me tell you, Deante, do you know who Deante Kyle is? Have you seen his work or watched the Grits and Eggs podcast? I asked that because I don't know. I'm just curious. Yeah, he calls it getting on code. So let's play some of his items and then we'll come back. I've talked enough. Let me see. I wanted to find Deante Kyle home ownership. Let me see. I thought this was so good. Okay, let's see. This guy has a reaction. So let's just watch the reaction video, please.
They're salesmen. All right. Prime example. Grant Cardone, Earn Your Leisure constantly tell you about how irrelevant it is or how bad of an investment it is to own your own home. Now, once they started saying like that in 2018, we seen a downtick in mortgages and the uptick in rents and rental. And at the same time, we seen the rental prices go up, and then we seen housing market crash in COVID. And you told people that owning a home is a bad investment, but BlackRock doesn't think so. So why do these big corporations own all the single family homes if it's a bad investment? So to me, situation like that means you're working in tandem with them. That means you work for the big corporations, and they gave you those talking points. Because how did y'all all come up with the same idea at the same time? And then how is that the result of it? The moment you told niggas that owning a single family home was a bad investment, everybody stopped owning single family homes, and now nobody can own a single family home. How does that make sense? I be paying attention like that. That shit is fucked up, bro. Now you in a position where niggas can't afford a house or rent because you told them not to own a home, and then these big corporations came and bought all the homes and made it where you can't afford the rent. That's insane, bro. It's three companies that own 85% of the.
Yeah, I saw that on the news, man.
It wasn't like that 10 years ago.
Cost of living was so
These
low in
niggas
Atlanta.
started telling niggas that stop owning homes. They started telling people that.
And bro, the
You
number
started
one
telling
way to
working-
pass, that's how you pass down generational wealth, owning the land.
I ain't never heard nobody talk like that before.
Right.
Don't own a home.
That's the one thing.
Never heard nobody
always
say.
Yeah,
But
you're
this
right.
is the thing. It was a new generation. A full decade later, you see how things come quick? And they all had big platforms. And they were all simultaneously telling people not to own a home. It was a bad investment. Now nobody can. That's insidious, bro. And meanwhile, you hustling for what?
You're still sharecropping all over again.
Are you back sure? They're salesmen.
Yeah. That video moved me. No, I only saw a short snippet of this recent viral thing. Okay. And then G says, Earn Your Leisure, never rocked with them. Can you imagine? This is G says he F's with this guy. He critically thinks about things. Sounds like how I talk with my people. Definitely going to go watch his podcast. Oh, he's brilliant. And if you're on TikTok, you get and you find his page, which is Deante.Kyle. He has some of the most brilliant points to me. And I love for Black men. Let me say this. What I love for Black men who watch this is that he talks in a very relatable way that, women like me aren't going to come across. Men don't want to hear what I got to say. They don't care. But for men like Deante Kyle to be able to say this, let's talk about the education. We're going to go back to the education. I wanted to play this earlier. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's go.
I was reading a New York Times article. At Black colleges, a stubborn gender enrollment gap keeps growing. Only 19% of the students at Howard University are Black men, whose enrollment levels at four-year colleges have plummeted across the board. Couple of reasons we can point to for that. All right, let's go back. Let's go back into where we destigmatize education. That last 40-year talk. Yeah. It's always relevant. What you tell a nigga? Oh, you trying to go to school? Man, you better get out here and get this money.
You got to be a leader, dog. The book is fucking your head up, man. Yo, when's the last time you read anything, man? Never, motherfucker. What you need to start thinking about is your motherfucking seed, man. Because Shorty can't eat no books, dog.
How many stories? How many niggas do we know that had promising careers in athletics and fucked it up trying to be a street nigga? Go get you a pack, man. Fuck all that. Even if you ain't never been in a criminal, even if you just unsure of where you want to go in your life, imagine that sitting in a cell right now. You can't leave. You can't leave. Don't matter how bad you don't want to be there. Don't matter how sorry you is. The crime ain't never gonna match the punishment. You there for labor, nigga. Huh? We need bodies.
Yeah.
Huh? Why not get another nigga? These niggas out here, they aimless. We'll just round them up in a RICO. Oh, you know the niggas that do the shit? Bet you going to.
Mm-hmm.
Huh? You want to talk or you want to go home? Y'all thought, fuck up, beat.
This man is talking very down to earth. Can I say that? Because who can relate to, guys? I'm sorry, my camera is glitching. Guys with a podcast, a great setup, a nice house in the background, microphones, and they look like they got double couches, a huge room, whatever. A lot of these young Black men don't relate, can't relate, won't see themselves in something even as small as a podcast host, a podcast studio setup. Might not relate to them. I love Deante Kyle because he is able to relate to the young Black male youth with the same vernacular. That's like, nigga, nigga. You know what I mean? So I understand his delivery and it seems genuine. And he's making so many points. He's like, they're setting you up to be dumb and to go to prison. That is the design. The design is to set you up to be an idiot and to go to prison. And then the other design, like he said earlier with Earn Your Leisure, these people really, let me take this down for a second. I want to make a point. These people, like Earn Your Leisure, they all had the same, and podcasts that were similar, had the talking points that were being sent from somewhere. Think about that. And if you get a group of people as beautiful and brilliant and connected and spiritual as Black people to divide themselves, male versus female, and you can blame everything on Black women, which they're still doing today with this Tory Lanez case, this Diddy trial. Everything is Black. DDG and Haley. Aiden Ross is talking about Meg. Who is Aiden Ross to talk about Megan Thee Stallion or Doechii? But the point is to make Black women look like the enemy so you can have a people that is so brilliant on all levels to divide them with plants. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, baby. I speak facts. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm very intelligent. I know what I know. What I'm telling you is there were absolutely planted talking points for, let me take this banner down. There are absolutely talking points that were planted for Black women to become the enemy of Black men purposefully so that we can disenfranchise Black people even more. They can't even be allies with each other. Exactly. Why are white Republican women from Florida on X talking about Tory and Meg? This is absolutely to say, come vote for us more because we too hate Black women like you do. And we understand how Black women have railroaded you into the system. Black women is the reason that Diddy got Diddy's on trial. Not Diddy's actions, not Diddy's behavior. No, Black women did this to Diddy. Black women did this to Tory. Yet Tory Lanez chose not to take the stand. And your lawyers don't make that decision. Your lawyers don't make that decision. The judge doesn't make that decision. The prosecutor or district attorney doesn't make that decision. The defendant makes the decision to go on stand. To go on and testify. if you have complete innocence, get on and talk about it. And these people are now on the internet making me like, go tell the prosecutor, go tell the judge, tell the appellate court or the appeals court. That's who you talk to about new evidence. You're still trying to push the public opinion. The only reason you're trying to push the public opinion as a white Republican, as Todd Chrisley's daughter, is because you only want that division to grow wider, where people hate this Black woman. Because if there's evidence, tell the appellate court. Why is the lawyer being paid and no appeal has been filed? The lawyer is going to come on and say, yeah, I'll do a press conference. It's going to be $150,000 an hour. Yeah, I'll do it. Clock in. Let me clock in. I'll stand in front of the courthouse and talk about you for sure. And then I'm going to send you that bill. Right? Or I'm going to send your father that bill, and your father can, mortgage his home or refinance his home, because I got to get paid. I'm not going to file an appeals because maybe we don't got, or the appeals court has already seen in the original trial what we have. But the point is to create a bigger divide online for Black men and Black women. We can push more Meg hate. Right? So the lawyer's getting paid, Megan's being hated, and Tory is still in jail. Does that sound like the perfect white supremacy setup? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? The Black woman is hated and assaulted, physically assaulted and hated. The Black man is still locked up. And the white lawyer is still being paid? I'm sorry. That sounds ideal. That sounds absolutely ideal for this society, for the white American society. That sounds like everything is aligned. We're taking Black money. We got the Black woman on social media trial, and the Black man is still locked up. Why are we still talking about Tory Lanez? I don't understand. Tell the appellate court. Stop telling us. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. This further divide for Black men and Black women that only benefits one group, and it ain't us. So Deante Kyle, I think, is a voice that Black youth can relate to and see themselves in. And he has the wicks, and he's not doing it in some pretty setup. He looks like he's in his home, in his dining room. Everything Deante Kyle represents looks accessible and relatable, which I love. He talks about real things that people should be having conversations about. And if you're going to skip education, let's have the intellectual conversations online. Let's stop passing the buck, passing the blame. Let's have real discussions. All right. So let's finish with another Deante Kyle post that I thought was.
The conversations that we've created in this space alone have changed the minds of thousands of people. We single-handedly turned the YN narrative upside down. We single-handedly did that by imploring empathy, by looking at those young men and seeing ourselves. I don't want to hear YN. Don't say that shit around me. Take it out of your vocabulary. Because just like woke and DEI, it's another way to call you a nigga. You can be 17 years old, valedictorian, with all the ropes, all the decorations. It's valedictorian of the school. Oh, the YN's in education now. That's how you sound. Like, that's what y'all would say. And you allow these people trick you and to make fun of you, and then you adopt it and try to hee and ha ha. Everything ain't goddamn funny. Everything ain't funny, nigga. I don't find that shit funny. As soon as you see a Black man and he young, you can tell he a young teenager or young 20s, you want to call him a YN. Stop that shit, man. Stop that shit. Don't let them trick you into villainizing yourself. Because what do you think they think when they hear YN? In their mind, they got a villainous teenager out of Chicago or Philadelphia with a ski mask on, ready to kill each other. That's what they think when they hear YN. Stop saying that shit. You can say nigga. Them, like everybody else, always trying to find a loophole into our fucking community, into our culture. They got all this shit to say about niggas.
They're always looking for a loophole into our culture. He's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I don't use YN. That's corny when you realize who the one saying it online. Okara has said menticide. Okara, can you explain in the chat what menticide is? Please. And G says he doesn't use YN. And you're absolutely right, because it is a way for them to infiltrate our culture. When we say casually, we as a collective, not 100%, we as a collective say nigga, they can't. And so YN is saying nigga. We all know that. Yep. And this, let me tell you something. What you just said, what he just said is so factual, because like he said, you see a scholar graduating high school, he posted on TikTok, and the comments are laughing, making a joke. Add Pookie and Ray Ray to that as well. Oh God, they love that. Yeah. So yeah, when you see Black youth in education, it has turned into a joke about, and the basis of the joke, let me tell you, the basis of the joke, right? Then the right adjacent Black men use the term too. Looking up. Hello. And let me tell you the basis of the joke. When you see a Black young man and they say YN, education, and then YN in the comments, like he said, it's a joke because, let me tell you why it's a joke. It's a joke because the ideology, like Okira said, the menticide is that these young Black men should not be graduating school. They should be out killing each other. That's the joke. That's the YN joke. The YN is like, oh, this is so absurd. This is so unlike them. They should be out robbing people. They should be out burglarizing homes. They should be out carjacking. Black people don't get that the joke is on them. The joke is on them. And they're telling the joke. The only reason you saying YNs graduate in school, YNs in accounting, YNs in science is because what you associate a young Black male with is only crime and violence. And the only people we get crime and violence from, we've adopted crime and violence. That's not where we come from. We don't come from crime and violence. We come from minerals like gold and coal and cocoa and petroleum being so abundant that it doesn't even faze us. That's where we come from. We come from spiritual healing. We come from unity. We come from love and light. That's why the sun builds us. The sun builds us like it does the earth. Do you understand? The sun builds us like it does the earth. And the only people we got violence and crime from, the only people we got crime and violence from was Western society and colonization. But y'all so want to be so funny and introduce everybody to everything that YN has become crime and violence for you. And when you see a young, I was going to say white male, when you see a young Black male of excellence, of accomplishment, You use the term YN because you want him to be what you think of him, what you, as a Black person, think of him. You want him to be a nigga in the street carjacking your grandma, stealing packages off your porch, raising up pit bulls to fight. Like that's the association you have with young Black men. So now when I think about it, and young Black men don't want to go to college, could it be because Black society has made it a joke for them to go? Could it be that Black society has made it normal to ridicule young Black men in education? Oh, I might have hit a point. G says, big facts. G said, tropical regions, warm weather. Exactly. We are grown up. And y'all know I'm just spitting things that I heard. I'm an older woman, so I know a little bit about something. But I've heard that melanin goes through exactly the same process of photosynthesis that plants do. Literally, I heard it, believe it. Because the sun, listen, but I will say, even before colonization, there was patriarchy between us. So I feel moving forward, we need to be better than that as well. Before colonization, there was the normal, what I consider normal way of life. Of course, people want to have territory. People want to build bigger, what's it called? Kingdoms, right? And they want to infringe on your land. I get that. I also understand, like, people will say there was slavery before the transatlantic slave trade. Understand, slavery before the transatlantic slave trade was, you owe me a debt, your son stole something, you're going to come work for me until that debt is paid. It's not your Black skin makes you subhuman and you're a slave, right? So I understand your point, G. Of course, there will be war. People will want more territory. People will want to build bigger kingdoms. There will be greed amongst humans. It is a part of the natural order of things. But the race play in it is where the problem lies, right? The automatic ideal that someone is subhuman. Exactly. The dehumanization. And I'm sorry, Okira did come back and say menticide, which we asked her or him. I'm assuming the makes you female after Okira, but I could be wrong. So Okira comes back and says menticide is a constant feeding of the mind with the main purpose of destroying that mind. Anyone that uses the N word is dealing with deep self-hatred. Agreed. I don't even absolve myself. As brilliant and intellectual as I am, I don't absolve myself from being brainwashed, because how could you not be? How could you work? How could you earn a living to pay for things like water, right? Without having some brainwashing. Somebody somewhere convinced you that you need to pay for what the earth gives you for free. Somebody somewhere told you that you need to assimilate to a certain type of thing to pay for things that should be naturally given to humans, like medical care, like drugs to save their lives, prescription or whatever, like healthcare to save their lives. Somebody absolutely brainwashed me into believing that these things are the natural way of life. And what I'm saying is nobody's wrong in that. Nobody is wrong in that. We all have been conditioned to believe that some people are. You have to decondition, decolonize your mind to think that some people don't deserve health care, that some people don't deserve SNAP, because all of us may feel a way about that. You know what I mean? And we may be on different planes of that colonization and decolonization of our minds. Some of us truly believe that lighter skin deservedly has more and will get more in their lives, right? And I've seen the most beautiful light-skinned women work at McDonald's, right? So I'm not saying that that's a problem. What I'm saying is we still have that belief. Some of us still have that belief. No matter what you see, no matter the football player that they get, right? The football player that they get may slam them through a wall. For some reason, we still believe that she deserves a better life than a dark-skinned Black woman, whatever. So yeah, we've all had we've all been colonized for sure and brainwashed. But let's do one or two more Deante clips and then we'll wrap up because it's been an hour and I wanted to do some more videos.
Reiterate something else that I brought up. The way that these 3-letter organizations work, what their recruitment process is. These 3-letter organizations that put together plans and ways to constantly disenfranchise the Black community recruit the same way other 3-letter organizations recruit. NBA, MLB, NFL. They're spending their money to get the best people. Now, they're not getting athletes. If the plan is to affect the minds, the bodies, and the behaviors of Black people to make us subservient to their society, they're going to get psychologists, anthropologists, sociologists, people that understand the brain, people that understand human behavior and how humans interact in large groups. What's going to affect your mind, what's going to affect your body, and what's going to affect your behavior.
Isn't it so brilliant that I played this clip and Okara was talking about menticide? I think that just happened. Really, it happened organically. I didn't even know that. I mean, I saw they clone Tyrone, but he's talking about exactly what Okara is bringing up. Thanks,
Okara. How
does
this behavior in turn affect you in large groups? And we're in proximity to the effects. So we don't see the causes nor think about the causes. And it's hard to think about the causes, right? If you grow up in a household with an abusive dad and shit like that, and he's a drunk, you don't ever get to the point where you're saying, well, why is he a drunk? Not while you so close to the abuse. And if you
how brilliant is that? You're so close to the effects, you don't think about the cause. You're in such proximity to the effects. Oh, Kara, thank you for this comment. It just really leans into the conversation. And I hope everybody can add menticide to their vocabulary now, because you are teaching and spitting facts and dropping knowledge. Thank you so much. But what Deante just said was, you're so in proximity to the effect, you're not thinking about the cause, which means you don't understand what it is, right? You don't know how to avoid it. It's too overpowering where you are at that moment. Let me let him cook because he's going to wrap it up real nice. What about?
And if you have other people who are going through these similar situations, well, that has to be a symptom of something. Everybody, Black ass daddy can't just be a drunk, irate nigga. There has to be a bigger cause than that. There's a lot of things that go into the effects. And if we could start researching the causes, right? You have to understand, like, equal and opposite reaction. This is a law of nature. We're existing in the effects of something, right? And this is why the last 40 years is so important to me, and the war on drugs is so important to me, because we need to be researching what the causes were. If we can all sit here and say, yeah, my uncle was a certified electrician, like he was getting money until he got on that dope. My dad was a carpenter. My dad was a welder. My dad did all these great things. He was a genius, really, until he got on that dope. Then why are we not, like, looking at where the dope came from and why? Again, these people are running experiments on these things. That's the whole idea of They Clown Tyrone. I think we should pay way more attention to that movie, because what they're talking about is the hypnosis through food and music. It informs the behaviors. The behaviors stay the same. So if they're running these tests, they understand, okay, if I give them this is how they react. If I give them that, that's how they react. If you hear this is how your mind reacts to it on this frequency. They're running tests. This is an experiment. It's called a project for a reason. It's all experimentation. And they've been constantly subjecting us to their experiments. And I'm going to reiterate something else that I brought up. The way that these
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm not trying to tell a joke, Baby, this man cooking. I'm not even gonna tell what I was gonna say. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say because I don't want to disparage an artist because I don't think it's at the artist level. I think it's at the corporate level, right? That's why so many record companies that deal in Black music are owned by non-Black people. I don't even want to say so many, all of the major Black music record labels, and I mean major. I don't mean like Cash Money. I don't mean like So Def. I'm talking about like Sony, not Def Jam. Who owns Def Jam? Universal Music Group. I'm talking about those people are owned, those companies are owned by non-Black people. Because if you think about it, I don't know how old most of you are in the chat, but if you think about how old, if you think about the effect that Cash Money had on Black culture, think about the effect Cash Money had on Black culture. I just want to say that. I think that's something we should think about. Something we should think about that Deante is making a point in right now is the effect that Cash Money had on my generation. And at that time, we had not seen anything like Cash Money and Master P's No Limit ever. We hadn't seen it. And I think that's interesting. I think that could be studied. But if y'all haven't seen They Clone Tyrone, go watch it. And there's a TikTok out right now that tells you how you can get all of the free movies, free downloads, free things where you can you don't have to subscribe to those big companies that pay you for streaming service. Yeah. Go find that TikTok.
There's always a push. There's always a push to keep the Black athlete humble. And unfortunately, Cam Ward was used as the example, as a contrast of the right way to do it.
Yeah.
He's not a diva. He's not got a whole bunch of jewelry on. He's just got his alma mater pin on. Basically, this is a good nigga.
Yeah. They did the same thing with Saquon Barkley too when he got drafted.
Well, we just seen Saquon posting up with Trump, so
well. And he got a white wife, so
yeah. Nigga named Saquon.
Yeah. Your name is Saquon.
Big ass thighs. Saquon.
That nigga built like a Chevy truck.
That nigga would have been hell in the field.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't like that.
That nigga would have been hell in the field.
That's crazy.
That nigga would have been the runaway.
Yeah.
That's wild. Bye, y'all.
Him and Harriet, unstoppable.
What?
Saquon and Harriet?
The Tubman Barkley combo? Oh, shit. Would have freed thousands.
Hey, listen, millions of niggas would have been free.
Oh, shit. Them niggas would have bankrupted slavery.
This is crazy. Y'all, I didn't know this was the end of this video. I guess y'all, this is a great way to end the show. Oh my God. That was hilarious. All right. I hope y'all had a lot of fun in today's live. If you're watching the replay, please let me know you're watching the replay. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and I will be back probably later today. If I don't go do some kind of karaoke, because I really wanted to do karaoke today, and I got that cute little polka dot dress. I want to put on and go do some karaoke because I have not been out since my birthday. That was about a week ago. So, okay. Y'all have a great night. I love y'all. I hope y'all got some Black power in this video. Bye.